And what I'd like to do over the next few minutes is share a little bit about the findings from research that I conducted last year, albeit in a slightly different context around relationships in teams. But I think a lot of the findings are consistent with certainly my experiences in professional services and consistent with my experience around client management and client service teams. So I really wanted to focus on two or three things that really underpin relationships. And unsurprisingly, and as Zoe just mentioned, trust seems to be really the key underpinning for all relationships. But I think trust, you can look at it in two ways. One is the tangible elements of trust. So the things that are visible perhaps to the client, doing what you said you're going to do, being reliable, reciprocity is an important one. So there are the things that, if you like, are almost the hygiene factors, things that you have to demonstrate to clients to really start eliciting that trust. But then there's also some intangible factors, if you like. And really the key ones I wanted to talk about are empathy, attunement, and presence. And, you know, if starting with empathy, if you take that to be the ability to experience others' cognitive states while recognizing your own state, then empathy, you know, in more common parlance perhaps, is being able to understand what the other person is feeling. And at a neurological level, there's some interesting work that's been done, and I should say that this is not cast iron proven. There's still considerable debate about this. But there is evidence that there are parts of the brain that fire what to call mirror neurons, which literally allow us to mirror and experience at a neurological level what the other person is experiencing. And there's quite a lot of work that suggests that there is something going on around what has been called the social synapse, which is where we're all interconnecting at a neurological level. So that is what might allow us to start understanding and empathize with what another person or other people are actually feeling or thinking in the moment. The second element is attunement. So if empathy is perhaps understanding the other person's mind state, then attunement is understanding their somatic state, what they're feeling. And, you know, attunement literally is being in harmony with the other person. And what that means is, in terms of relationships, that that gut feeling you might get when you're talking to someone, when you're understanding what they're experiencing in the moment, is to do with part of the nervous system called the vagal nerve. And the vagal nerve is literally one that links our stomach through our chest and throat to the brain, and ultimately the areas firing the mirror neurons. And what the vagus nerve does is allow us to experience in the moment what the other person might be experiencing. So, as I said, that gut feel, that tightness of the chest, that tightness of the throat might be a result of what the other person is experiencing, giving you clues as to what's going on for them. So those are really, really important underpinnings of what creates trust, when you're starting to reflect that empathy, or notice what the other person is feeling and reacting appropriately. The other important element of what's underpinning trust is what's called presence. And presence is how we show up when we're in a relationship with people. So how you do you, again, in ways that might be more understandable. And there's a lot of evidence to show that our presence, the way that we show up when we're in a relationship with people, will really impact our abilities to maintain that trust and that relationship. And, you know, I'd invite you, and I'm not going to think or draw on any particular analogies or metaphors here, but I'd invite you to think about people that you know that have got a particular distinctive presence, be that a very strong presence or perhaps a less strong presence, and think about the impact that that has on you and how you feel when you're talking to them. Because all these things will impact the way that we are building the relationships with people. So really, just to sum up, I think, yes, we will probably be familiar with the tangible factors that underpin trust, and I completely agree with you, Zoe, that trust is fundamental to relationships. But I would also invite you to think about the more intangible elements that underpin relationships and how they might be impacting the way that you show up in relationship with your clients.